Hi guys, welcome back to our third episode, Screen versus Teen.
We're the Coys. I'm Anvita.
I'm Nithya.
And I'm Melissa.
Today we're going to talk about screen time and how it affects mental health.
Let's get started! So we just got some food, and we're going to start off today's discussion by talking about phone usage. And we know that this is a very controversial topic in many homes, and it can turn into a very heated debate. I have first-hand experience with that. But that's exactly what we're going to do today.
So I think phone usage has always been like a very common discussion with health officials and like companies who are invested in electronics.
A neurosurgeon at Northwell Health Neuroscience Institute says when cell phone use becomes an addiction, the behavior or the user's behavior becomes stressful.
Today we're going to be talking about this issue with three different perspectives. I'm going to be taking the side that phone usage is bad, not only for people's mental health, but also physical health. I'm Nithya, FYI.
And I'm Anvita, and I'm going to be more of the neutral side of this debate, meaning like I'm going to be both on Nithya's side and Alyssa's side.
And I'm Melissa, and I'm going to be debating that phones are actually a really important tool that we need to use these days, especially with how focused the world is around technology. So I did some research from this adolescent's brain cognitive development study, which is a study done by the researchers from Oxford Internet Institute at the University of Oxford. And they're basically saying that there's no evidence that screen time is negative for children's development and physical well-being as they grow up. So basically they covered nearly 12,000 children in the United States, and it was over a 2-year period where children estimated the amount of time they spent on digital activities each day. So like TV, watching TV, gaming, movies, stuff like that. And there was no evidence that said that slowed down their cognitive development. And personally, like me too, like honestly for me, like I can't test my cognitive development, of course, but I watched a lot of TV as a kid, and I think it turned out just fine, you know?
I think a lot of people growing up have watched a tremendous amount of TV.
Well, I feel like our generation compared to the generation below us, which I think is Gen Alpha, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so I feel like they sorry, they watch a lot more
TV?
technology or TV than we do at a young age. Well, I think you guys have like a solid point. I think the generation below us, Gen Alpha, they spend a lot more time on screens because I feel like right now, like TikTok has really taken over and a lot of things are more apparent technology-wise in our lives, meaning that's how they're going to start their childhood out. So I don't think you can necessarily like take a 2-year study and be like, oh, it has no impaired functioning in the brain development of children. Maybe just like in 2 years, like it's probably a well-developed study as it is by Oxford. But, like, in BBC News, they did an interview, and a person named Taylor was in the interview, and they talked about how they felt that they were addicted to social media, and they ended up suing a company called Big Tech, and they just felt like they were trapped by addiction at age 12, and they didn't get back any of their teenage years. So I think that's really crucial. Even now, we can, like, attest to this, that if you are bored in class, what are you going to do? Go on your phone. If you're bored, like at home, you're going to go on your phone. You're just going to scroll mindlessly on TikTok, or you're going to play some game.
But isn't that just an addiction rather than something that affects you, like, really? I mean, I guess it, yeah.
Does an addiction not harm?
True.
But I think that, like, Gen Alpha and our generation, we rely so much on technology. It's like, without technology, I don't think we would get anywhere in the day.
But isn't that harmful?
Harmful.
It just makes us reliant.
Yeah, but once you there's a difference between relying on something and being addicted to something. Phone jails are invented. People have phone jails in their house. What type of extent do you have to be addicted to a cell phone that you have a phone jail that has an unlock mechanism on it?
I will say, like, when I'm, like, doing homework and I really need to, like, do my homework and, like, I often get distracted every like 2 or 3 minutes because I want to like be on my phone and be on TikTok. And like because I do that, I lose sleep. So I see what Nithya's saying.
Yeah, especially the sleep factor. Like I feel like when I was a kid, I probably like I slept way better than I do sleep right now. Because even if I'm really stressed by like school or whatever and I can't sleep and I'm doing homework, when I go to bed, I'm not going to knock out. I'm going to go on my phone.
No, that is so real. Because before I sleep, I go on TikTok for at least an hour. So if my original sleeping time was 11:30, I would be sleeping now at 12:30. Why did I lose that hour? Because of the phone.
We're just inclined to look at a phone at all times. But I still think, like, you're talking about Gen Alpha using TikTok nowadays and how that's more like harmful for their like cognitive well-being. But honestly, TikTok's a whole different issue, right? TikTok can be used for like good things like informing you or just like something you want to watch. I think the problem with Gen Alpha using TikTok, not just how it affects their cognitive well-being, it's just like they watching videos that are not appropriate for their age. I think that's the main problem with them using technology. But I think if you use technology as you're supposed to, like not as something that you're always addicted to, you're always leaning towards, but something you know in the back of your head, like, oh, if I don't know something, I can kind of search it up. Like, if I don't know how to, like, if I need a tutorial to make something or fix something, I can search it up. So, like, and that's how useful it is.
But I feel like, in theory, that's what technology is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, like, just the dictionary that's, like, in your phone that you can carry around, right? But that's not the reality of it. Like, if you look at the news articles, like, there was, like, something about, like, Gen Alpha or maybe Gen Z that are really young, like, who, like, you know the drunk elephant craze on, like, every social media?
Oh, my God.
And, like, how a bunch of kids who are, like, 8 years old have, like, every single drunk elephant product that they use.
Breaks my heart.
Extremely harmful for their skin. Like, but
they just don't need it.
No, they don't need
influence. Like, technology, like, not even, like, the actual phone and maybe, like, the radiation you get from it, but the little apps on it are, like, made to be addictive. Your, like, TikTok For You page, Instagram For You page, like, they're all programmed to, like, meet your needs.
But I feel like we're, like, really generalizing everyone in the bubble that you're describing. I feel like not everyone uses, like, TikTok and stuff. I'm going to use my sister as an example. Like, she may not be the generation that you guys are talking about.
She's Gen Alpha.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, how nice. My sister's in 3rd grade now. And the only, like, time she uses technology is, like, for, like, typing club that we did back in school, or she's watching a show on Disney Junior. But that's pretty much it.
I also think it depends on the household you grow up in. Like, my friend's sister, like, I was in the car with them once. They're like, she's, I mean, I guess she's not as young anymore. She's a 6th grader. And so I guess that's not as young. But, like, at 6th grade, my phone was so, like, so bad.
Dingy, bro. Dingy. The lowest Samsung model ever.
Same.
Ugh.
And, like, I was not as addicted, but because phones are so developed nowadays, they, like, my friend's sister was, like, addicted.
Wait, I agree with this statement, because I feel like, back when we were younger, like, you were talking about earlier how, like, our generation did not use technology as much as this generation. I think it has to do with, like, the modernization of it. Because back then we didn't have TikTok. We had, like, YouTube. And that's when we would get, like, sick of YouTube.
Yeah, I feel like we were also really addicted to YouTube as kids now.
Yeah.
I was addicted. Oh my god, there's this channel called, like, they play with Elsa Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
And I watch it all.
I used to get yelled at by my mother because I would be on YouTube for, like, 3 hours straight. And, like, the things that I would watch would be, like, these, like, really cool influencers and, like,
Alicia Marie. And,
I don't know, like, I don't know if this is accurate, but I don't know if that was really, like, appropriate for our age group at that time.
But I feel like, well, yeah, no, I agree, and I really feel that it's, like, responsible, honestly, for the parents to regulate this screen time.
Yeah.
Because, like, if parents aren't regulating what their kids watch, like, the internet is so dangerous. Like, I think that's one fundamental we can all agree on.
Definitely.
You search, like, one wrong thing up, and, like, that can, like, scar you.
Or, like, those crazy ads.
Oh, yeah, the ads are, like, you can't even control those.
Yeah, but I think if you want to talk about, like, not just children's mental health on screen time, but even adults' mental health on screen time. Like, if adults know self-control, technology is really good for them. You know what I mean? Like, if you're, like, 20, 25, like, let's say you're 20, 25, right? And if you know, like, you're able to have self-control with your phone, like, I need to do my work, I'll put it down. I need to go sleep, I'll put it down, right? Then that's the point where technology is really useful and it is really good for you, I think. Because, like, you can communicate with so many people now on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone is just, like, watching videos on their phone, right? They're communicating with their families, like, if you're in college. They're communicating with families who live in different states or, like, different countries. That's how people stay connected, and you can't just take away screen time and then lose the relationships.
Sorry. Especially like, during COVID, like, if we didn't have technology the way it is right now, I don't think, like, the world would be where it is right now. Without technology, like, we wouldn't be able to do, like, 8th grade online. You know what I mean? I feel like if we talk about screen time in that sense, our screen time would have been super high because we had to do school online, we had to do homework online, we had to video call our friends online, just messaging them in general. Like, also, like, ordering food from outside if you can't cook because you don't have the right materials.
Now, imagine living during the pandemic without technology. Without that technology we have today.
That would
But
be
how
a
does
crazy
that
world.
prove technology is good? It was just we had no other choice. You went outside, you got a killing disease.
That's
yeah,
true.
but imagine, wait, if we didn't have technology, right? How do we get to school? How do we
Yeah,
access
I admit that
education?
technology is helpful, but there's a limit. Like, you can take let's take an extreme example, but take medication. It's helpful. Like, it's good. Like, for people with anxiety or like OCD, depression, you need it to like feel sane and like normal. Like, to some extent, maybe you don't. Like, depends on the person, right? But you can overdose on that. You can get addicted to that. Like, ADHD, a lot of people take Adderall, but Adderall isn't something that is like really not something that isn't like popularized, but like Adderall is also a very common drug to abuse.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you take that in the sense of phones, I think even because of COVID and because of like how much we used to rely on our technology back then, it's become an addiction. Like, how many times, like, the amount of notifications that pop up on your phone, you get like an instant sense of gratification.
Dopamine.
That isn't good.
My mom yells at me all the time for that. I'm so sorry. But, like, if someone, like, messages me, she's like, oh, you have to check your phone right now. You can't
Yeah,
check
exactly.
It
And
yet."
basically-
she's right. Like, I need to check my phone.
It's basically a rush of dopamine when you get the notification. You know, oh, I'm gonna get like instantly, like this is gonna make me happy. Like, it's that rush of dopamine that makes you so addicted. But you can say that about. It's not limited to technology or screen
Yeah,
time
it's
only.
not, but it's still bad.
I know, but you can say that about anything else. You can say that about type of food too. Like, you just start learning self-control at that point.
Well, self-control food isn't shoved in your face everywhere. Like, take this room, for example. There's a camera across from us. There's 3 laptops right here, 3 phones here. There's another camera there. You probably have electronics. It's shoved in your face everywhere. If you don't have a phone in school, sometimes you're like, why don't you have a phone? That's really weird. If you didn't have a phone in high school.
But food is also shoved in your face anywhere.
Yeah, but like, I feel like it's easier. It's obviously not easy for some people to restrict food either.
Yeah, sometimes that's
People with like, take eating disorders. It's a type of addiction
Yes.
to like restrict your food or like binge, right?
Mhm.
It's the same thing with phones. Like, there's some people who can control. There's some people who can diet normally. There's some people who can go on their phones and like limit their screen time, and there's some people who can't because technology is like what just gives them happiness.
Yes, but that argument can apply to anything, which is why I'm saying, people just gotta learn limits, because you can't say this is bad for your sleep, this is bad for your mental health, but a lot more other factors are also bad for your
Yeah,
health.
you can. You can say this is bad for mental health. That's bad for mental health. That's bad for mental health.
I wasn't done, but okay.
Oh, sorry. What do you mean? Get to the point.
I'm just saying that you can't just blame this. You can't just say technology is the only reason my mental health is bad when there's a multitude of other factors.
I never claimed that.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't say you're saying that, but I'm saying that it's not only technology that's bad for mental health. Like, in everyday life, it's a bunch of things. So just because you're addicted to
But I feel
screen time doesn't mean that screen time is the only thing that's harming you.
yeah, but it's a huge factor in our life. Like, take school for example. There are phone jails in classrooms. What have we come to?
Wait, to the point that you were saying about, like, the message popping up and you have to, like, check it. Imagine, like, how much anxiety that brings to oneself. Like, I remember I was doing something really important, and in the group chat, it just kept going and going and going. 30 messages went to 50 messages. 50 went to, like, 75. And the anxiety I had, and I still couldn't check it because I was doing something super important. And that kind of, like, made me like, in a way, like feel left out and like
yeah,
this,
FOMO.
yeah, and like because like if you bring it up when you can check your phone again, it's like
Yeah, exactly.
you get the one message response.
Honestly, it's so bad for your psychological health too, because the constant notifications, the pressure to respond, am I missing out? Like, are they planning something? While you're like, maybe just something really important. It's so stressful, especially for like a growing mind. It's not a good thing to be trained to look at your phone at every notification.
The training is called classic conditioning, and it's basically like it's a mechanism that it's like why we reach for our phones and disconnect from the world around us just because the addiction is basically that our phones have been associated with access to reinforcers in the form of news, novelty, entertainment, information, and social connections.
Oh
and
my
that
God.
that the notification compels us to respond. But also, that's the reason why Do Not Disturb exists, guys. So
Well,
you don't get this information.
Well, I'm on Do Not Disturb. Yvonne, our friend, was on Do Not Disturb. We both look at our notifications.
Really, I don't.
It's a thing in conditioning, right? We've
Yeah.
all learned about it in some class. Classic conditioning is when you're trained that something you're going to do is a good thing. So it doesn't matter. Like, I can be trained that if I go on my phone, look at Do Not Disturb, and just swipe up, boom, I have a bunch of notifications that makes me
Yeah.
happy. People want to talk to me. So that makes me happy. And the more I do it, the more I'm going to get conditioned to want to swipe up on my phone. The same thing with Snapchat. The same thing with TikTok. It's just...
Wait, the
DMD doesn't help.
The thing you were talking about with news, say if like you're a fan of some like
Oh
really
my God.
of some celebrity, the constant need to like check what's going on with them. What did they
Oh
release
my
today?
God, that is-
what picture did they post?
That is me
who
with
followed
Macy Peters.
them.
I have her notifications on
I
every
remember.
app.
Oh
and it's
my
like,
God.
why am I like this? Like, even if I like am doing like a history assignment, I just see Macy Peters uploaded a story. I'm gonna go check, bro. Like,
Okay.
it's probably something irrelevant, but do I care? I'm still gonna hit the button.
Yeah.
No, I was. Yeah, I think it's just really a fight of self-control because technology can be good in so many ways. It's just that we abuse it. So I was actually doing this reading, and I can't say the source exactly because it was on an SAT test. But essentially, it was saying that humans use their internet or phone as like a memory source nowadays because we become so reliant on it. So like now you don't remember birthdays or phone numbers because immediately I can look it up. Like you don't Google Maps, right? You're like, you don't need to remember street name because Google Maps is right there. Your contacts is right there. You don't need to remember that stuff. So that's why yes, the problem that we use our phones so much that we've become that reliant on it. But now that we have our phones, the way to make sure we get to the places we need to go. We call people we need to call.
Okay, but you see why we've come to having our phone numbers in phones and GPS on our phones. There used to be phone books. There used
Waste
to be
of
maps.
paper. Waste
Waste of paper. Don't talk about waste of paper. There's so many things that are waste of paper. Phones are a waste of plastic.
Wait, no, but I feel like technology is a way of like.
A way of chef's kiss?
No, but wait, Nisha, can you?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's just the fact that it's so addictive.
Basically, I was doing some research while you guys were talking, and it was saying that contrary to what a lot of media reports say, extended screen time isn't bad. And the latest research, according to New York Post, the latest research says that smartphone using teenagers may benefit from spending time on their devices. Of course, only to an extent, but it does help. It says that adolescents who use their phone have a lower risk of depression, suicidal thoughts, sleep issues, stress, and alcohol addiction compared to those who don't use the phone at all. So, although there is a limit of what you need to have, using your phone for an extended amount of time isn't all bad. It has some benefits. It helps other people with other things.
Well, with that argument, the fact that using something less isn't harmful, well, you can apply that to a lot of things. If you do something that's bad in a very small sense, it's not going to have really profound impacts. But what I'm saying is that just phone usage is bad because phones have become so addictive in a majority of people. So just overall, phones are just not they harm people. In the same study you're talking about, it says that while previous studies have shown that too much screen time can have negative effects on users' health and well-being. And it does say that small amounts of phone usage can like have beneficial effects. It's still harmful in large amounts, which is what I'm trying to say. It's like it causes them to be isolated. Not only like isolated, but isolation can cause like a numerous amount of things, such as like I don't know how to rebuttal your statement, Alyssa.
It does not cause you to be isolated. It opens up connection. Having.
Well, combat isolation. Whoops. Well, I think with your argument that like screen time isn't bad, it's like obviously in moderation it can have benefits, right? Like a lot of things in moderation can have benefits. Like I was saying, medication. If you take the right dosage, it's going to be very helpful in some cases. But just like the risks of overuse and also the challenge it is to moderate your screen time. When like Invicta was saying, everyone not everyone, but like there's a lot of notifications popping up. There's just a lot of things that you're on your phone that makes you want to check it every second. It distracts you when you're doing important things. Like it's really powerful, and that can obviously like risk like even if you try to moderate your screen time, it's going to be hard. Like on Apple phones, you can limit your screen time, right? Like maybe not on parental controls, but if you limit your screen time on your own, you can just override it. Like so many people I know who have screen time on their phone, they literally override it. They do not care. Like there's no point in having a screen time limit.
Okay, but if you, of course, everyone needs to know a limit, right? They need to have self-control. But if we're talking about how screen time affects a mental health, right? In this day and age of like smartphones, this study by Pharma Forum, it was saying that a lot of psychologists now use clinically proven personalized digital therapeutic treatments that better treat and manage mental health conditions. So they're using technology and to give people treatment, and those people cannot get treatment unless they're on their phone.
Do you mean like therapy on a Zoom call or something?
No, it's like a digital treatment.
Like a medication on a phone, basically.
Yeah.
CBT or what?
What's the example? Are they giving examples? Pharma Forum.
Here, 1 second.
But like what Nithya was saying earlier, that like it's gonna be hard. It is gonna be hard, but like at the end of the day, isn't it like achievable?
No. In a day and age where technology is thrown out, we live in Silicon Valley. Come on, it's everywhere. You walk down the street, there's like an Apple literal building. You walk the other street, there's another Apple building. You walk down the street, there's a Google building. It's thrown in your face. How are you supposed to restrict screen time when that's all your friends do too? Like, you know how many people are on Discord all the time? Or on Reddit all the time?
Discord is a big problem.
That's all they do. So like, it's honestly like, it takes a toll on your mental health. Not only like the harmful radiation, like blue light that emits from phones, and how that's like a whole other topic, but just phones, like, if you're not on your phone constantly, you're missing out. And that's so harmful to someone who just like is a growing teenager, because you just want friends, you want to be a part of something.
Yeah, so screen time helps with relationships. That's literally what you're saying. That is what you're saying. Screen time helps technology.
Yeah,
and use your phone to help with relationships.
It helps with relationships, but like the amount, phones are just inherently harmful. They emit blue light. It's just harmful to
okay, now you're going on a different...
I am, but I'm saying, if you like go on your phone, right? You're going on your phone to communicate. I'm saying, yes, communication, it's everywhere. But let's take Discord, for example. It can go really well. You can have a server with your friends. You can play games. But it can also go really wrong. You can join a server, and it can be like really harmful to your health. You know how many like why screen time is like limited for like a lot of kids? Because this is really dangerous. So obviously it can be good for communication, but if it's just the risks overrule the good. You could join
the wrong server.
Yes. The risks are so big, especially for growing teenagers. And I'm saying phone usage is really bad for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Because the adults that haven't lived with technology most of their life, they like, it wasn't in their childhood. They're in like their teens, maybe they're like adult, and that like started popping up more and more. It's all we've lived with, and it's so harmful. I would have come out a completely different person if I didn't have access to the internet. I think 100%. We all would have.
Yeah.
I think both in personal life and...
What about, but like, back to the phone thing, what about digital therapy apps?
Yeah, does that outweigh the risk though?
Okay, but that argument can be applied to anyone.
So what?
Yes, that argument can apply to anything. So you're not going to go outside because there's a risk of going outside? What are you going to do, huh?
No, I'm saying, but there's not a big...
In this day and age.
Alyssa, there is not a big risk of you going outside and getting like walking down your street and then boom, like a car swerves and like kills you. Okay, but
There's actually a very high chance.
no,
of that
no.
happening.
Yes.
I'm talking about the sidewalk, dude. Anyway, I'm saying that if you're on your phone and you're a kid and you're just addicted to your phone and you're just lonely, or like maybe you're not even lonely, you just like really want to connect. Like you're saying that it's a good way for communication, right?
Yes.
So you're gonna go on somewhere, you're just gonna communicate with random people. You know how many kids have reached out to people who just catfish and have gotten kidnapped, gotten into like a bunch of. I'm just telling you, the risk outweighs
The risk
the
of getting
so bad.
kidnapped. The risk of getting kidnapped on
it is
your
not
phone
that-
is so slow.
It's not for kids, Alyssa.
Can you wait for me to finish my sentence?
No, because what you're saying.
Honestly, the risk of going outside and getting kidnapped is much higher than the risk of getting catfish
So
on your
does that
phone.
mean that? How does that matter?
You're literally saying that the risk outweighs. There's risk to everything. You guys gotta be careful with
Exactly, there are risks to everything, but in this case for a phone, they outweigh the good. That's all I'm saying. There's obviously risks for a lot of things, but in some cases, the good, like for medication, like take anxiety medication. For me personally, like I'm not sure yet, but I feel like taking it would help me more with my anxiety than like the risk of taking it. But I'm just saying for a phone, it's been proven that it's just harmful for a majority of people. It can help. It can obviously help. A lot of things can help. But at the end of the day, it's really dangerous.
After hearing both Nithya and Alyssa's sides to this topic, I think we can come to the consensus that excessive technology is harmful in multiple aspects, such as mental health and other factors that we did talk about. Do we agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, to finish this episode off, we're gonna respond to some questions about screen time, and we're gonna answer them with our personal experience, and yeah. Okay, so the first question is, does my teen become angry, irritable, anxious, or even violent when the phone is taken away or unable to be used? I think anxious is definitely there.
Like taking my face forcefully. Like if I can tell my parents my phone away, I'm gonna be annoyed. But I think getting used to not having a phone easy access for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
If you get your phone taken away, that's something you have to get used to, because you haven't it's like going through withdrawal.
I think like when me and my parents get into an argument, if they threaten that they'll take my phone away, it obviously puts me in a very upset position. Oh, are there any major changes in moods? Oh, we already answered that. Eating habits. Interesting. Well, yeah. Are there any major changes in my teen's eating habits that can't otherwise be explained?
I don't know.
Social media. Social media, like, promotes.
How would you say promotes it?
People, there's such a standard on social media that it like doesn't, I don't say promote, but like people feel like they have to like eat a certain amount.
Or the people on TikTok or like Instagram who like body check or like, oh, what I ate in a day, and it's obviously not a good amount, and it's like obviously very less, and they're just normalizing it to young kids who like aren't taught what's good to eat, or like how to know when to stop eating, like what's full. They get influenced by it.
Oh my, you know those videos that like eating what my sister eats in a day, but she's really skinny and it's like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my god.
There's obviously a reason for that.
But also, like, there's also those things where, like, it's like, sorry. There's also, it's like glorified almost. Like, I've seen certain things where it's like, oh my god, I have an eating disorder. And then, like, obviously more attention is given there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, self-diagnosis.
Oh!
I think social media plays, like, being on your phone plays a huge role in, like, self-diagnosis, because if some person says, oh my god, oh my god, TikTok's like, oh, you have OCD if you do this, blah, blah, or like, you have ADHD if you do this, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my god, I do that, I have ADHD.
Yeah, definitely.
And those self-diagnoses without being educated.
Or like the statement, like it's such a common statement to be like, oh, my OCD is acting up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not educated.
There's another question. Is my teen's personal hygiene, friendships, family relationships, or schoolwork negatively affected by smartphone use? Definitely.
Schoolwork?
Schoolwork should be highlighted because, as we discussed before, it's like a major distraction.
Also, in family relationships, like I was saying above, I think teenagers do get angry when they're threatened with their phone being taken away, or like they can't talk to their friends anymore when they're in their house and they don't want to like talk to their parents. They'll get annoyed, and that will negatively impact their relationship with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, you know, whenever we hang out, like, I'm in the car and I'm on my phone, and I'm not talking at all because I'm on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The atmosphere just looks really like...
Also, when we don't have things to talk about and we immediately go on our phone.
Everyone goes on their phone.
Oh, like yesterday in the car.
Yeah.
When we just all sit on our phone on TikTok, and we have the same For You pages too.
Yeah.
So we're just on the same For You, just scrolling at things at different times, and we're just dead silent. Like, it just, I feel like
that's like normal. It isn't like
we're too reliant.
Like, it should be concerning, but it's not.
Like we literally just like hung out after school to stare at our phones.
Mm-hmm. Whenever me and my cousin hang out, like, we're like, oh, we'll do so much stuff, and we end up like on our phones and like, or bonding, just being on our phones.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely negatively affected.
Should we wrap it up now?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Okay, so this was the end of this week's episode, Screen versus Teen. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yay.
And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
Bye.